fundamentally we have to bring information on and put it on the SAC. That's a given. It's coming from the outside. If we drag and drop it onto the object, it goes to the right place. And we're distributing our data to different folders on the SAC because fundamentally that's how stuff works. You put stuff in a folder. But when I check it into focal point here, we have automation behind this object. It knows where to put it, we've seen that. It also checks the assets into the database automatically and associates them with the project. That's another step it's gone. Because people are always looking for simpler. Because essentially my coders keep telling me the less lines of code, the less bugs. The less steps, the less problems we're going to have later. So if we reduce our steps from 4 steps down to 2, we have less problems later. It's just the way of organizing things. So the media is now in the database. It creates the object in the cloud because it's a cloud-based server, and the media is encoded and brought into the system. So we're making a proxy automatically. Again, we have rules for this, and this time we're making an H.264 proxy. It was similar in the video surveillance cameras. We were making low bandwidth copies. So now, if I'm lucky, we'll see how lucky we are. Over from your phone set in this pocket, I'm now streaming media. Hopefully you can see this is a back clip because it's very dark. Let me just put a better clip for you. Yeah, because it's really a better clip for you. This is one that's more easier on the projector. That's good. That's proxy. It's good enough, and it's anywhere in the world, it happens automatically. So people brought the media into their system, we generated these proxies in the background, and then that's anywhere. So inside a TV station, this means your producers can see media as it's coming in, as it goes on the system. There's a little bit of latency as we generate the proxy, but the clips are arriving as they ingest them. Now, there's no other system. Most systems don't do anything like this because these days you usually have to go to the editing suite to see the media. But here we can have this media fed back to the field where maybe you're producing the field because it's web-based service. It's using your phone. Now we can do logging, we can do marking and tagging and all the things we've done in traditional labs here. But it's fundamentally different. I mean, it's quite subtle sometimes because people are saying, well, it's very like CapTV, and I go, it's nothing like CapTV. And, or traditional map. And the reason it's not like that is because essentially we are putting all the code inside the browser. These are new tech. You know, this is what we were getting talking. This is JavaScript. All the code and all the logic is inside the browser, so there's no install. That's what we have to do if we're going to give it to everybody with no training. We have to keep things simple. We have to, when they open up the browser, we're bringing in the intelligence. It's not that, but it feels like that. And when I'm showing this, people forget how that this is a browser because it has all this. Say this is the data sets I'm using here are vast. I don't use small samples. I use feature film samples because it makes it realistic. The database behind it has to be also scalable to do it. Now, some of the other things that we have problems with, or we learn a little bit more, is how to basically. Okay. We talked about yesterday and Matters, and anybody who's gone to that know we agonized for months about schemas. Some of the people we've been talking to over the years, we talk about in our TV station how we tag things, how we label it. And usually this takes huge amounts of discussion. because some people want hundreds and hundreds of tags because they want to describe everything in great detail, and other people say, oh no, I only need these. And so it goes system-wide, and the whole company talk about it. So I've divided these tags into focal points into what I call mandatory tags. Now the mandatory tags we're getting essentially are derived from these sort of tags. We don't need as many as we think. NASCAR, we have 250 fields, which I thought was amazing at the time, but I think it's just way too many. Scott, who we did the project with now, works for Notre Dame. And essentially, in Notre Dame, he's now into production. In NASCAR, he was into archive. Now he says, Kevin, I've come to your party 4 years too late. I can get what you're about now. Because in production moves fast. But we still need this information for archive later. This is where we're deriving our information from. So we get tags from here, and we can add more tags here, so we can look at the boards if we've got one, and we can say, okay, this is scene 101, take 2, and it's a good tag, and we can add metadata here, and we can save that. But fundamentally, that is mandatory. That is taking information that's like the harvesting in CatDB. We harvest all the metadata, and like CatDB does. Here's all the metadata for these farms, so we know about GPS and all those things. But again, you notice I haven't done this. I've just driven my system as normally. I'm not getting in the way of the editors. They're just supplying it. So if we look at the interesting bits of the what I've had to embrace is if you're going to go cloud-based, you're not centralized anymore. People will want to describe things the way they want to describe them. Because this is the advantage of the cloud. We can have multiple sites all around the world, or even within a country. But they'll be different people, and they have different ideas about what they want to describe things as. And as we're still text-based in our searching, so I came up with this notion of why not let them? So I can make here a collection of Cairo keywords. So this is again, this is through Ashraf's phone. So now I have Cairo keywords here, and I can add to them. So we go coffee. I don't know. Maybe we go tea, because people want to describe things the way they want to describe them. Make this bigger for you. So I'm creating these, and now I can instantly add them to the medium. Now this is very different from the way we've constrained schemas in the past, because we don't want people to use different words, because if you use different words, we can't find stuff. Yeah? This is why we agonize so much about the schema. But people are like that. They want it to work like Google. They want to do it the way they want to do it. So, other things I learned about going through the process is most databases, the best thing they do is hide your data from you. Now, this is heretical to my other Mac and things like that. And what do I mean by it? It means that if we don't have a very tight schema, you can't search for stuff because you don't know how it's been marked. If you don't know if you don't know how what words are being used to describe something, how can we search for it? So if you're a new person in an organization, you don't know the rules, you don't know how it's being marked, you don't know what words to describe the footage. So that's what I mean when I say databases essentially hide stuff from you. So me being very simple now, I said it'd be a lot easier if the databases sort of really showed us what was there. So I thought, okay, why can't I get the database to show me the words? So I did. So here we use something, again, if you're distributing things, use familiarity of people. People have seen cloud tags. This is like a cloud tag, yeah? The bigger it is, the more often. Different colors mean less or more. We're not quite sure how to use color yet, but okay, see, we want London, okay, that's everything that's been tagged London. We can go on any clip and you'll see essentially somewhere here, oh yes, that's the London tag. Yeah? But other clips, have you got the data pad on your phone? No, it's okay. I might have exceeded your data pad. So here we have London. Say I'm just looking for Chris. That clip now, that's in two clicks. We have narrowed down the scope of our search to just 2 clicks. Okay? Now there's a few, it's not cheating, it's just the way we've classified our data. Most people will remember the name of the show. Remember right at the beginning of when we classified our data into the names of the shows. So they're looking inside the show and we're seeing the tags within that show. I don't care about schema, it can be ad hoc, because we can change it. Okay, so that's very focused searching, and it finds people what they want. Now, we can take that information, and if I go back to take a lot of information, we can go back here, we can export it. But we're not really exporting it anymore because we're in a cloud-based situation. I think I've got 10 minutes to go, so I can choose clips inside Focal Point. And we can do some interesting things. We can say, okay, I want these clips. So I want to choose this clip and these range of clips. And I can export them. Now I can export this metadata in XML tags. I'm calling it Cairo name. And when we export, yes, please have some clips. Okay, let's do this. Now it tells me it's a download. Why is it a download? I was talking to a very clever guy in university the other day, and he didn't understand why it's a download because he kept on thinking it's here. But it isn't, it's up there, it's the cloud. So this XML is the metadata that we're downloading this local machine. So I click download, and what we do is we trick the system into automatically launching, in this case, Final Cut 10, and bringing in the path to the media. Okay, so I should have here, I have a Cairo event, and here's all the media, and we do other things. We bring in all those tags that we created. Hopefully you can see that. This metadata, Woman Sharp, Chris, Credits, Aaron, Jimmy, have all come from the clips we selected. They were the tags we added in the cloud. So if you know Final Cut 10, it uses keywords to search. This is the clever way, the modern way, this is a new way of searching for stuff. We use the tags to find collections of data. What we're doing in this system is we're taking the tags all the way through from beginning to end, and we're tricking people to give us information in ways that are simple to them. 5 minutes, yeah. And we're bringing that information. If we bring it inside, we can search inside the NOV with the same tags. But we can get people logging this stuff from anywhere. As soon as it's been uploaded to the cloud, it's available anywhere in the world for people to do stuff. So, what else do we do? Okay, so another thing that we thought was what we're working on at the moment in my R&D phase is we're importing stuff. So, what are we importing? If I can make this work. As I said right at the beginning, people don't like logging. What I tried to say yesterday was the best place to start getting metadata is from devices. Now this is essentially a little clapperboard. It is time-code stacked. It will also generate XML files. Now these XML files relate to the files that are set, and we can upload them, or we can take them off this device and we can bring them into here. So this is called the display. So we can imports XML files from the state and we can apply them to the project. Okay? So what this allows us to track is metadata. It gives us all kinds of metadata about the name of the file, it gives us the project, it gives us the name of the cameraman, and it tells us if the plane has gone over. It gives us vast amounts of metadata, but it's coming from set. Now, if we import that XML file, what we validate is if the file has the right name, it has the correct time code, it has the correct project, and we apply that metadata to the object and focal point, the project. So it's long we get more metadata that we know that's the answer when we come to archive, but we've got it directly from Strat. There's no additional steps when we get to production. But we can use that metadata because that metadata will come over into our NLE and it will be hit as a keyword. So we're streamlining the whole thing and we're trying to distribute the login to different people at different times. And we're trying to see, unlike that, we're trying to see everything that's production oriented. It starts here in pre-production, it comes to production, it comes to archive. All this metadata will flow through to archive, and it will be that much richer for our search. And we'll have all this metadata. So, I think I've got 3 minutes left. So, none of this comes about instantly in your brain. It's taken me sort of 12 years, really, and 14 years in production to figure out how do we make things simpler. We were very successful with the CatDB. We have 13,000 installs. It's traditional, and this is the new stuff, and this is why it's nice to talk about the new stuff. And it's cloud-based, and that changes all the rules. I can take traditional man, I can take some of the things we've been talking about, and yes, I can put them to the cloud. But it isn't as rich as this workflow, and it isn't as streamlined. And so really, I thank you for the opportunity to show you this, and it's a work in progress. And yes, if anyone asks, we can take it to archive as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kevin.